back to the Garden of Gethsemane. While Jesus was still speaking, suddenly Judas, one of the 12, arrived. With him was a large crowd with swords and clubs who came from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now the betrayer had given them a sign. "The one I kiss is the man. Arrest him." Immediately he went to Jesus and said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. Jesus said to him, "Friend, why are you here?" So why was it necessary for Judas to kiss him? Well, they didn't have copy machines in those days. Nobody had a picture of the guy they were supposed to arrest. And so it was necessary for him to be identified. And Judas was the man. Then they advanced, took hold of Jesus, and arrested him. Suddenly one of the men with Jesus reached out his hand, drew his sword, and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Then Jesus said to him, "Put your sword back in its place, because all who take the sword will die by the sword. Do you not realize that I could call on my Father, and at once he would provide me with more than 12 legions of angels? But then how would the scriptures be fulfilled that say, it must happen this way?" At that same time, Jesus said to the crowd, "Have you come out to arrest me with swords and clubs as if I were a robber? Day after day I was sitting in the temple courts teaching, and you did not arrest me. But all this has happened so that the writings of the prophets would be fulfilled." And then all the disciples deserted him and fled. Those who had arrested Jesus led him away to Caiaphas the high priest, where the experts in the law and the elders were assembled. Peter was following him at a distance and went as far as the courtyard of the high priest. He went inside and sat down with the guards to see how it would turn out. The chief priests and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for false testimony against Jesus so that they could put him to death. They found none, even though many false witnesses came forward. Finally, 2 came forward and said, "This fellow said, 'I am able to destroy the temple of God and rebuild it in 3 days.'" The high priest stood up and said to him, "Have you no answer? What is this that these men are testifying against you?" But Jesus remained silent. Then the high priest said to him, "I place you under oath by the living God. Tell us if you are the Christ, the Son of God." Jesus said to him, "It is as you have said. But I tell you, soon you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of power and coming on the clouds of heaven." Then the high priest tore his robes and said, "He has spoken blasphemy! Why do we need any more witnesses? See, you've just heard the blasphemy. What do you think?" They answered, "He's deserving of death." Then they spit in his face and punched him. Some slapped him and said, "Prophesy to us, Christ, who hit you?" You see how Jesus' judicial murder is coupled with personal spite. That's also mentioned in our hymn, again, 292, but now verses 7, 8, and 9.